As we meet here, be with us, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And we ask the leading of the Holy Spirit, which is the Comforter, the Counselor, Helper, Intercessor, Advocate, Standby, and Strengthener, to be with us, to chairman this meeting, and deliberate with us for a successful end. And as we live here, may God Almighty give us the willpower to deliberate, to execute whatever we are going to decide here. This we ask in Jesus' mighty name. And I therefore declare this function, the summit, one-day summit, open in the name of God the Father, the name of God the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you very much, Prof. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Good afternoon to all of you, Your Excellencies, and our esteemed guests here. Welcome to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. We're all gathered here for the inaugural summit of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform, and we here in Akwa Ibom State, we are excited to host this very important summit. We'd like to take just introductions of dignitaries who are here in our midst today before we go for other items on this program. I'd like, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, that all of us please put our hands together and welcome the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Her Excellency Senator Akon Eyaranyi, PhD. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here also the chairman of the Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform and Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Senator Lawrence Erujako. Please welcome him with an applause. We thank you, Your Excellency. We are delighted also to welcome in our midst here the Deputy Governor of Delta State, His Excellency Sir Monday Oyeme. Thank you, Your Excellency. We welcome also very respectfully His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olaide Adelami, MNI. Welcome, Your Excellency. Your Excellency is the Deputy Governor of our sister state, Cross River, is here. Please welcome His Excellency, Right Honorable Peter Ode. We welcome you. Thank you, Your Excellency. We are delighted also to be joined by Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Ogun State. Please help welcome Her Excellency Noimot Salako Oyedele, FNSE. Welcome, Your Excellency. And from the Center of Excellence, Lagos State, we have the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Office of the Deputy Governor. Please welcome Mrs. Mobalaji Daba. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Once again, we welcome you to Akwa Ibom State. Ladies and gentlemen, we salute and welcome members of the National Assembly who have joined us here this afternoon for this very important function. From where I stand, I can see Senator Nelson Effiong. I can also see Honorable Martins Essen. Please, let's welcome them with an applause. We welcome you. We welcome very specially the Director General of the National Boundary Commission, Surveyor Adamu Adaji. Please welcome him with an applause. The keynote speaker in this occasion, ladies and gentlemen, is the Vice Admiral E.I. Ogala, the Chief of Naval Staff, who is represented here by Rear Admiral D.M. Danusa. Please welcome him with a warm applause. Welcome you very specially. We'd like to welcome members of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly who have come out here in their numbers for this occasion. On behalf of all the members of the State House of Assembly, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that we please welcome the Chairman of the House Committee on Boundary and Conflict Resolution, the Right Honorable Mrs. Precious Salong. We welcome you, Madam. Thank you so much. We'd like to welcome also very specially the Executive Secretary of the Border Communities Development Agency, He is represented by the Director of Planning and Intergovernmental Affairs and Community Relations of that agency. Please welcome Sadiq Issa. You're welcome, sir. We have also, Your Excellencies, the Federal Commissioner of the National Population Commission, Chief Benedict Ukpong, who has joined us here. We thank you, sir, for joining us. We have all the commissioners, honorable commissioners, and members of the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council. We salute and welcome all of you. We welcome HSA's special advisors to the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, chairman of boards and parastatals, permanent secretaries, and heads of extra ministerial departments. We'd like to welcome service commanders in Akwa Ibom State who are here in their numbers. We welcome all of them through the Commissioner of Police, who is here represented. Please, a round of applause for all the service commanders. Your Excellency, Chairman and Vice Chairman of local government councils in Akwa Ibom State are also here for this occasion. They are led by the Algon Chairman, who is represented by the Chairman of Ikorekpene local government area. Chairman, we salute and welcome you. We'd like to welcome our revered royal fathers who have joined us here in this occasion, all of them drawn from the coastal states and coastal communities in Nigeria. Your Excellency, please allow that I take just a minute to recognize His Royal Majesty Obi Kikachuku Afamwene Henry, PhD. He is the Obi of Ubuluno and second Vice Chairman of the Delta States Traditional Rulers Council. Please welcome him with an applause. We'd like to welcome also the Ovie of Mosaga Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Sonny Odugo Opwefure. Please welcome him with an applause. Thank you so much. We have here also in our midst His Royal Majesty Joel Ibane, the King of Idu-Wini Kingdom in Bayelsa State. We thank you for joining us. His Royal Majesty Sonny Opure Uduak First, the Osvie of Mosaga Kingdom, Delta State. We welcome you. His Royal Majesty King Joel Ekendi Ibane JP Obiobo, the Pere of Iduni Kingdom, Bayelsa State. We welcome you. His Royal Majesty Ayeliowa Oba Adeleke Akiru Ismaila, Oba of Ijebu-Lekki, Lagos. We welcome you. We welcome also His Royal Majesty Walif Rasak, the Onibeju of Ibejuland. Welcome you, and all the other royal fathers who are here. Please, let's welcome them with an applause. We salute and welcome you. Not forgetting the chairman of the Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Council, whom I am told will join us very soon in this occasion, Odidem Basi Etam Edet. We welcome you. We'd like to welcome esteemed guests in our midst who have made it here to this occasion. Some of them will speak in this occasion. They have paper presentations. Permit me to please ask that we all welcome Professor Enefio Essien, SAN. We welcome you, Prof. Our father, Ikpoto Okodosung, we welcome you. Ikpoto Dr. Afiakure, we salute and welcome you. We'd like to welcome captains of industries who have joined us here in this occasion. We welcome all the socio-cultural groups from all the coastal states in Nigeria who are here for this all-important summit. Very specially, Your Excellencies, allow that I welcome members of all the delegations from the coastal states who are here. Bayelsa State delegation, Cross River State delegation, Delta State delegation, Lagos State delegation, Ogun and Ondo States. Please welcome them with an applause. We welcome all of you. We'd like to welcome members of the clergy, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. You are all welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, having concluded the introductions of dignitaries in this occasion, I'd like to ask that the brass band give us an interlude as we would get set to have the next item. The brass band, please. Thank you, the Pure Brass Band. Your Excellencies, Akwa Ibom is a state that is known for her rich cultural heritage. To welcome you properly, we'd like to invite the State Council for Arts and Culture to please perform. While they are getting set, we welcome Senator Ekong Samson. We welcome you. We welcome the Head of Service, Akwa Ibom State, Elder Effiong Essien. We acknowledge you, the Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Akwa Ibom State, Obong Stephen Tuekbo. We welcome you, the Deputy Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Kufre Basi Edidem. We salute and welcome you, Right Honorable Ime Okon, member representing Itu Ibionibum in Nigeria's House of Representatives. We welcome all of you. Council for Arts and Culture, please. We welcome His Royal Majesty Oba Dr. Obafemi Ogbaru, the Odoka of Ogbaru, Ondo State. We welcome you, Your Royal Majesty. We acknowledge His Royal Majesty.
Check. Mic check. Yes, mic. 1, 2.
dede, anye dede. Akwa Ibom in Oyo. Oh, oh, Akwa Ibom in Oyo. Well.
If you know, you understood exactly what the Ministry of Art and Culture did, and you could appreciate how much we couldn't even differentiate between the men and the women on the stage. Give them a befitting and a thunderous round of applause, please. Put your hands together and celebrate the Akwa Ibom State Ministry of Culture. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, once again we continue to welcome you to Akwa Ibom State for the very inaugural summit of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we would like to proceed with other items in the program. And to permit me, with the kind permission of Your Excellency, we get straight to the paper presentation, because it's often said that education is a progressive discovery of ignorance. But before we proceed with this, please may I request the pure brass band to give us some very soft tune, sotto voce, as we get set for the next item in the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pure Brass Band. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would appeal that at this moment you give us your attention as I invite Professor Enefiok Essien, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as he comes to the microphone for his paper presentation on the topic providing social infrastructure in border communities, a panacea for reintegration to Nigeria. Prof.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Your Excellency, the visiting Deputy Governors who are here, distinguished senators, ministers, commissioners, and let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I will just pause for a moment, I suppose, so that we allow His Excellency to come in, and then I will start the protocol all over because they will change.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please, we apologize for the inconveniences. We'd like to invite the Pure Brass Band to resume. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to announce the arrival of the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Pastor Umar Basi Eno. Ladies and gentlemen, please, may we all rise and welcome the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Pastor Umoina, the host governor of the inaugural summit of Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform, holding here in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. We welcome His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom. We welcome their Excellencies, Deputy Governors of the coastal states of Nigeria, who are joining His Excellency here for this all-important summit. Of course, we acknowledge Her Excellency, Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, the distinguished Senator Akon Eyaranyi, PhD. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we welcome you. We'll take the national anthem, Your Excellency, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. Akwa Ibom State Anthem. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Uyo, the capital of Akwa Ibom State. We're all gathered here for the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform Inaugural Summit. Your Excellency, our dear Governor, before you arrived, we had taken an introduction of dignitaries who are here elaborately. Permit me, Your Excellency, to therefore please take just an abridged recognition of dignitaries here, especially our guests who are here. I therefore would begin and ask that we all put our hands together and welcome the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency, Pastor Umo Basieno, PhD. Your Excellency, we welcome you. We'd like to welcome very specially the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Her Excellency Senator Akon Eyaranyi. Your Excellency, we have here also the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. He is also the Chairman of the Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform. We welcome you, Your Excellency Senator Lawrence Erujakbo. You're welcome. We welcome the Deputy Governor of Delta State, His Excellency Senator Monde Onyeme. We'd like all of us to welcome also the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Dr. Olaide Adelami, MNI. Your Excellency, from our sister state, Cross River, we are delighted to welcome the Deputy Governor of Cross River, His Excellency, Right Honorable Peter Ode. We are delighted also to play host to Her Excellency Engineer Noimot Salako, FNSE, Deputy Governor of Ogun State, who has joined us here. We welcome very specially the Deputy Governor of Lagos, who is represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Office of the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Mobolaji Daba. We welcome you. Your Excellency, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly is here, represented by the Deputy Speaker. Members of the National Assembly are here in their numbers. We welcome all of them through Senator Ekong Samson. We'd like to welcome very specially the Director General of the National Boundary Commission, Surveyor Adamu Adaji, who has joined us here. We welcome you. The keynote speaker on this occasion, Your Excellency, is the Chief of Naval Staff. He is represented here by Rear Admiral D.M. Ndanusa. We welcome you. We welcome very specially all government agencies who are here in their numbers, all dignitaries of Akwa Ibom State government. We welcome you, honorable commissioners, HSAs to the governor, special advisors, and the others who have joined us here on this occasion. Your Excellency, we welcome also other members of the State House of Assembly. Permit me, Your Excellency, because of the strategic nature of this event, to welcome very specially the Chairman of the State House Committee on Boundary and Conflict Resolution, Right Honorable Mrs. Precious Selong. We salute and welcome you. Your Excellency, the revered royal fathers from all the coastal states are here in their numbers. We had earlier mentioned their names one after the other, but I ask that we all put our hands together and welcome all our revered royal fathers from all the coastal states of Nigeria who are here in their numbers. That's about all the recognitions that we can take now. But finally, Your Excellency, this event also features an assemblage of a delegation from all the coastal states in Nigeria. I'd like to ask that we all put our hands together as we welcome the delegations from the coastal states who are here: Bayelsa State, Cross River State, Delta State, Lagos, Ogun, and Ondo State. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to very respectfully invite the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, our own, Her Excellency Senator Akon Eyanganyi, PhD, as she comes for the tone setting.
Thank you, Brisbane. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umar Basieno, PhD, the best performing governor in Nigeria, I want to welcome you, Your Excellency. Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governors of the coastal states of Nigeria, ably led by the Bayelsa State Deputy Governor, His Excellency Senator Lawrence Ehuru Jakpo, as the chairman of the platform. We've all been recognized, so I welcome you, my colleagues. The DG of the National Boundary Commission, the Chief of Naval Staff here ably represented. Please permit me, for want of time, because I know the sacrifice that the governor has made to be here. He has a limited time to be with us here. And to that, I am very grateful. The deputy governors are grateful that he has come to honor us. So I want to rest on the already established protocol by the moderator. Everyone, most of us seated here, all the dignitaries had been recognized. Your Excellencies, this is a historic event. This gathering of the Nigerian international coastal states, each state led by the deputy governor of the state as the chairman of the boundary committee of the various states. It is so because we are privileged to midwife something that is both novel and strategic to the development and corporate existence of our nation. The Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform is an innovative idea which emerged following the recommendations of the National Sensitization Workshop on African Union Integrated Border Governance Strategy and the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation held in Abuja on the 17th of March in the year 2022. Make no mistake, the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform is not another committee created to further increase the size of government or an attempt to engage in motions without movement. Rather, it is a child of necessity with a clear mandate which is drawn from the peculiar challenges and endowment of border communities as well as states situated in the coastal regions of this nation. There is no gainsaying that our coastal border communities are endowed with enormous economic potential and opportunities. On the flip side, they may also easily become security flashpoints if not intentionally managed, developed, and guarded. Permit me to say that the establishment of this platform and the decision to integrate stakeholders in border communities and local government areas in its operation is a masterstroke. With this, we will be able to move the area forward. Here in Akwa Ibom State, using the Arise agenda of our dear governor, His Excellency Pastor Umaino, isn't leaving any part of the state behind. Development is inclusive, and the beach fronts are being developed. For the first time, the governor established the Ministry of Internal Security and Waterways and appointed a retired general as its pioneer commissioner to work with other security chiefs to ensure our borders are well secured. I am sure with the enhanced intergovernment and interagency synergy, which this platform will promote, more of such initiatives will be designed for our coastal communities. The inaugural summit, which is taking place today here in Akwa Ibom State, became necessary not only to help us design the much-needed roadmap with defined timelines, but to propel us into action in fulfillment of our mandate. We may belong to different states, but we are all Nigerians. We may be geographically far apart from one another, but we are states and communities with similar circumstances, shared experiences, opportunities, and I dare say, vulnerabilities. To that extent, this is a kindred platform as far as our peculiar circumstances are concerned. This isn't a jamboree. I expect you to loosen up, all the delegates from the coastal states to loosen up and ensure you contribute your quota to ensure that the objective of this summit is achieved. My job here is simply to set the tone. The details will come from the chairman of the platform. And so I want to once again welcome all of you to Akwa Ibom State, a state of peace, a state that welcomes visitors, accepts people. And I'm very certain that your 2 days stay here will be memorable. I want to also appreciate, most importantly, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, my own governor, the performing governor, for sponsoring this summit and giving us the privilege, the safety, the environment to stay to deliberate. Once more, I want to say, may God bless all of us and welcome to Akwa Ibom State.
Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Akon Eyayin. Your Excellency, please, I would like to very respectfully now invite His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, for his welcome remarks. He is the Chairman of Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform. Your Excellency, please.
Thank you very much, the brass band. Your Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umar Basi Eno, PhD. Your Excellency, you know, it's difficult for somebody to do a competition with a woman who said her own mother's soup is sweetest when you're not even eating the mother's food. But sometimes you don't even need to greet the deaf man to know that he's a deaf. But with his look, you can know that the man is a deaf. But we have not actually eaten the soup. But I think all of us, we have attempted to agree that you are the performing governor of Akwa Ibom State. Because all of us deputy governors here will say that our governors are also the best performing governors of Nigeria. Since we are here, we will not drag ourselves into that competition. When you, the governors, meet, you drag yourself into that competition, and when you come back, we'll see the result. Your Excellency, you know, when a soup is sweet, the upper hand will be bigger. And so, you can see that some of us, when they said you were coming at 12 o'clock, some of us went for additional fasting, whether you can make it to 1 o'clock before you come, because of the enjoyment we are having here in Akwa Ibom State. And so that is why we are very happy. But on a very serious note, I want to recognize also my sister, who has been my sister for a very long time. Your Excellency, there's something I will tell you. I don't want to say it here, but I will tell you later. I know you are my senior brother and my Oga, so there are things I can tell you. Two of us have been in the Senate together. She was 1 seat away from me in the Senate. And today we are again colleagues as Deputy Governor. So let me recognize my very beautiful, elegant, performing, dependable, reliable, trustworthy, dynamic, dedicated, committed, and commendable Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Mrs. Akom Iyaning, PhD. Let me recognize the only traditional ruler we have as Deputy Governor in our midst, the Odoziane, Sir Monday Onyeme, Deputy Governor of Delta State. Let me recognize my brother from Ondo, Cross Rivers, and my sister from Ogun State, and then the representative of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. Your Excellency, let me take leave to just ride on the existing protocol, because they've been standing on the protocol. So as I was coming up, the protocol told me that if I stand on it, it will die. So I shouldn't stand on the protocol again. So let me recognize everybody who is here in the House, my senators, my House of Rep members, and the Speaker, and then the DG Boundary Commission, and then the Chief of Naval Staff, who is represented here. This was the reason why I wanted to join the Navy, but they disqualified me because I was so slim. And up to now, I'm still slim. So I don't know whether they will ever take me in the Navy. Because of the way he's dressing, very white. This was what was attracting me. Because the then governor that I saw in Rivers State when I grew up was a military DTSPIF, a naval officer. So each time he visited our school, the uniform was too neat and attractive, so I wanted to join. But when they got there, they said, "This man, you're too tiny, you cannot join here, go away." But I've improved in any case. Your Excellency, we are here today in your state, not by accident, but by divine coincidence. Divine coincidence because of the 8 of us that are the coastal border community states. Akwa Ibom, fortunately, is the first, starting with A, followed by Bayelsa, that is B, followed by Cross River, that is C, Delta, that is D, and you have Lagos, that is L, you have Ogu, that is G, O-G, and then you have Ondo, that is O-D, and then you have Rivers, that is the last. So it will always start from the beginning if you are very sure that what you are doing, God's hand in it. And that is why we have come to Akwa Ibom. Ordinarily, they would have said, the chairman of the platform, go and start from Bayelsa. But Bayelsa is not A. A is A. And you have an A in your performance. So we recognize that A performance that you have. We are here today on a very profound and very important assignment. And you know, the sacrifice you make determine the satisfactions you get. And so I want to thank my colleague deputy governors who have made a lot of sacrifice to be here today. I understand the sacrifice they've made to be here today. And so that sacrifice is not taken for granted, it's not mashed on the floor, and it's not thrown to the dogs for them to look at. So I want to appreciate you for coming and making this sacrifice. Because out of the 8 of us, it's only one person that is not here. And the reason why they are not here, you and I know. And I don't want to say it, because if you tell the madman that is a madman, that is when he will remember that he's a madman. So you leave him to be on the street and let him do his business. The DG and then the representative of the Nigerian Navy, we are here because we believe that we have peculiar problems. And the problem of the coastal communities and states are known to ourselves. A lot of energy has been thrown into what is happening in other parts of the country. The coastal states, we have a peculiar problem of the rising ocean. The ocean surge is affecting our coastal communities, and these communities have been washed away under our nose and our eyes. I'll give you a typical example. My father was an headmaster, and then he had to travel around the whole of the then Midwestern region as a headmaster. The community where I started my primary school, I went there recently, which is in today Bayelsa State. The primary school I attended is at the center of the river. That tells you the level to which coastal erosion is affecting those of us who are in the coastal areas. Again, people talk about flooding, and so people are taking steps to erect dams. But we are not talking about flooding in our coastal areas. We have permanent secondary flooding. Because of the water level that have risen, the ocean surge that comes up with the tide that is always rising every day, because every day there's an increase of water volume from the ocean. That is permanent flood. Nobody has discussed and talked about it. In addition, we have the issues of piracy and encroachment into our waterways in the name of fishing. Nobody is looking at that. We also have the issue of sea piracy and the rest of them. Our border communities in the coastal areas, to what extent do they feel that they are Nigerians? I don't want to remind the man who slept in the forest till daybreak that there is coal for him. You already know that he has coal. Our brothers from Bakassi that were ceded to Cameroon, to what extent are they being well fed and fed for? To what extent are social amenities provided for them and provided for others who lived around these areas? To what extent do they feel that they are Nigerians, not Sao Tome and Principe citizens, not Equatorial Guinea citizens, not Benin Republic citizens, not Ghana citizens, and not Cameroon citizens? To what extent have we been able to provide for that need they have? So they have appetites that we need to satisfy. And that is why we have decided to gather here today. Because a referee who wants to blow a good whistle must gather his mount for it to blow a whistle. So we are here to brainstorm. We are here to suggest. We shall not be confrontational, but we shall be consistent. We shall not be destructive, but we shall be deliberate. We shall not be disruptive, but we shall be determined. We shall not be confrontational, but we shall be discussional. We shall not be contradictory, but we shall be committed. And so, this gathering today is to see how we may not be able to find all the solutions, but the truth is that the war the cripple is aware of never kills the cripple. And so, we know our problem. Do we have the solution? Yes. Are they near? Yes. Can we find them? Yes. Because in every darkness, there is a light that will definitely break. And that is why Psalm 30 says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And so, a man who is in a hurry does not branch where they are playing draft. You are here today as the only golden governor that is all over the country. And if we don't take the golden opportunity, we'll lose the golden moment. And so I want to take the golden opportunity to have you speak to us. And so I want to seal fit and abbreviate and shorten my comment today, because the war that the man fight today and finish all his ammunition, by tomorrow he will be a defeated man. I want to verify.
Thank you very much, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. Very amazing man, one you would want to listen to every other time, succinct in his expression, but yet staying very calmly. Your Excellencies, this is a very serious event. It's a summit, which means that there will be lots and lots of lectures and things to learn. But I trust that, as the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom had already said, we already understand that His Excellency the Governor will have to go over to do some administrative and other issues that demand this time, while the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State will remain here to learn all that there is to learn. So please, we would jump the Goodwill messages now. Would take at least one paper presentation, which will be from the keynote speaker, so that the Governor of Akwa Ibom State can sit in to also learn before he would give his remarks to declare the event properly open, and then the other lectures and interventions will come. So please, you allow me at this moment to invite for the paper presentation by the keynote speaker, no less a personality than the Chief of Naval Staff in our dear country, but represented at this event by Rear Admiral D.M. Ndanusa. Please, can we please put our hands together? Welcome him. The man that inspired the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, but at least he still ended up as a Deputy Governor and many other things. Can we celebrate him one more time?
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Akwa Ibom State, Your Excellencies, visiting Deputy Governors, Director General National Boundary Commission, other very important dignitaries here present, permit me to please stand on the existing protocol. I have been informed that the Governor does not have luxury of time to be with us. On that note, I will abridge my presentation. Economic sustainability and human security. Resolute action. As the security of Nigerian coastal frontier is strongly tied to the prosperity and peace of our dear nation. Nigeria is located on the western coast of Africa and is endowed with strategic coastline that stretches approximately 853 kilometers along the Atlantic Ocean. The coastal expanse is not only an economic gateway, hosting some of the nation's most important ports and oil installations, but also a critical national border area, directly linking Nigeria to broader Gulf of Guinea. States such as Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River lies along this coast, housing diverse communities whose livelihood depend heavily on maritime resources. However, these coastal communities are increasingly becoming hotspots for security threats. They face numerous transnational and internal challenges, including smuggling, piracy, oil theft, drug and human trafficking, among others. The situation is made worse by poor infrastructure, inadequate security deployment, porous water boundaries, and insufficient stakeholder collaboration. The vulnerability calls for a multidimensional security approach that will bring together various actors like government agencies, local communities, civil society, and international partners to safeguard Nigeria's maritime border communities effectively. As Nigeria seeks to position itself as a regional power, the security of its coastal communities must be treated as a matter of strategic national interest. Coastal border communities in Nigeria serve dual functions, that is, as economic hubs and national security frontiers. Economically, they host vital infrastructure such as seaports, oil refineries, offshore drilling facilities, and export terminals. They also support fishing, tourism, and artisanal livelihood for millions of Nigerians. In terms of security, these communities lie at the intersection of local and international trade routes, making them natural entry and exit point for goods, services, and people. Threats in these areas can quickly escalate, affecting critical infrastructure, trade flow, foreign investment, and regional peace. This underscores the urgency for coordinated effort to secure Nigeria's coastal communities. The Nigerian Navy, as the lead agency for maritime security, is poised to ensure that the safety and collaboration with this littoral state through military might is comfortably in collaboration with stakeholders across federal, state, community, and international lines, given the adequate and desired attention. The Navy understand, yes, this solution cannot be only from military might. It requires complete synergy between different stakeholders that includes government agencies and the various stakeholders in the security agency. Government agencies and the security agency need to come together to face the challenge of maritime trade along the coastal communities. This brings me to the aim of this presentation, which is to examine the dynamics of coastal border security in Nigeria with a view to making recommendations. To achieve my aim, I will first consider overview of Nigeria coastal border communities before considering security threats facing coastal border communities in Nigeria, to be followed by legal policy frameworks governing coastal security in Nigeria. I will thereafter dovetail into stakeholders involved in coastal border security and their roles. This will lead me to assessment of stakeholders' roles and challenges before dovetailing to policy gaps. Now on the overview, Nigeria's coastline, as said before, spans approximately 853 kilometers, making it one of the longest in West Africa. It stretches from Lagos State in the west to Cross River State in the east, covering a range of ecological zones, including mangroves, river deltas, estuaries, and sandy beaches. These features make the coastline not only environmentally rich, but also economically and geopolitically significant. The coastal zone is home to 8 key states, namely Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River states, all of which border the Atlantic Ocean. Several of these states share maritime boundaries with neighboring countries such as Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, and Benin Republic, making them international coastal border communities. Strategically, the Nigerian coastline serves as a gateway to the Gulf of Guinea, a region susceptible to piracy, illegal fishing, and other maritime crimes. The Gulf of Guinea is a vital corridor for international trade, especially for crude oil export. Thus, Nigeria's coastal area is not only central to national commerce, but also to regional maritime security and global energy supply. It is worth noting that each of Nigeria's coastal states plays a unique role in border management and maritime activities. However, many of these states lack adequate security infrastructure, making them vulnerable to exploitation by non-state actors perpetuating series of maritime crimes. Next is a security threat facing coastal border communities in Nigeria. Nigeria's coastal border communities are increasingly plagued by complex overlapping security threats. These threats are not only local, but also transnational, with ripple effects on national stability, economic development, and regional peace. The combination of porous maritime boundaries, weak state presence, underdevelopment, and criminal exploitation has turned many of these communities into vulnerable zones. Accordingly, the most pressing security challenges facing Nigeria coastal border communities include maritime piracy and sea robbery, smuggling of goods, arms, and humans, illegal oil bunkering and vandalism, drug trafficking and organized crimes, human trafficking and irregular migration, and illegal fishing and other environmental crimes. I will now consider the legal and policy frameworks governing coastal security in Nigeria. Effective coastal border security cannot function in a legal vacuum. Nigeria has established a mix of national laws, policy frameworks, regional agreements, and international conventions aimed at enhancing the safety, surveillance, and governance of its maritime and coastal zones. However, gaps remain in enforcement, coordination, and policy integration. To refresh our mind, let me highlight on the key legal and institutional framework that guide coastal security effort in Nigeria. I will begin with national security policy. At the national level, several policies and frameworks form the backbone of coastal border security, some of which include the following. National Security Strategy. The National Security Strategy is updated periodically by the Office of the National Security Advisor to provide strategic direction on internal and external threats. It recognizes maritime insecurity, smuggling, and transnational crimes as critical risks to Nigeria's stability and outlines multi-agency cooperation and collaboration as a solution. Next is the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy. The National Counter-Terrorism Strategy recognizes Nigeria's extensive borders on land and maritime areas as potential entry points for terrorist groups, arms, and insurgents. It encourages security and intelligence agencies to work together in identifying and preventing such infiltration through coastal land areas. We also have the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. Though focused on economic development, the plan underscores the importance of safe maritime corridors for trade and investment. Security ports, protecting oil infrastructure, and combating piracy are seen as essential to national UNCLOS. It criminalizes acts such as piracy, armed robbery at sea, provides stiff penalties, including life imprisonment for certain offenses. This represents a landmark shift in Nigeria's maritime legal landscape, aligning national laws with global standards. Several pirates and sea robbers have already been successfully prosecuted under this act. Next is Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Act, NIMASA Act. This law established NIMASA as the primary agency for maritime safety, security, shipping development, and pollution control. It gives the agency authority to monitor maritime traffic, issue safety regulations, and collaborate with the Navy and police to enforce laws of Nigerian territorial waters. Next is Nigerian Port Authority, NPA Act. The NPA is empowered to regulate port operations, infrastructure. It plays a crucial security role by maintaining secure port environment, especially in Lagos, Rivers, and Delta states. It works with custom, immigration, and other security agencies to prevent smuggling, trafficking, and other illegal activities within port premises. A look at national convention and treaties. As a coastal nation, Nigeria is a party to various international maritime treaties, which guide its conduct on ocean governance, safety, and transnational cooperation. Some of these treaties include the following: United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The convention provides a legal framework for all maritime activities. It defines territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, and high seas governance. Nigeria, as a signatory, is expected to prevent and punish piracy, illegal fishing, and environmental harm within its jurisdiction. Next is International Maritime Organization Convention. This convention includes the safety of life at sea, maritime pollution, and International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, ISPS code. Nigeria implements this convention through NIMASA and MPA to enhance maritime safety, port security, and environmental protection. We also have Transnational Organized Crimes Convention. This UN convention and its protocol on human trafficking and migrant smuggling guides Nigeria's effort to combat illicit cross-border activity. It promotes intelligence sharing, law enforcement, cooperation, and victims protection. Next is ECOWAS and AU regional frameworks. Nigeria also operates under several regional maritime security frameworks, especially within the Gulf of Guinea. These include ECOWAS Integrated Maritime Strategy, adopted by the Economic Community of West African States. The strategy aims to build a coherent regional maritime security structure to promote joint naval patrols, regional coordination centers, and legal harmonization among West African countries. We also have the Yaoundé Code of Conduct 2013. This agreement between ECOWAS, Economic Community of Central African States, and the Gulf of Guinea Commission seeks to combat piracy, armed robbery, and other illicit maritime activities. It established inter-regional coordination centers, joint information sharing platforms, and collaborative operations among member states. Nigeria plays a leading role in this initiative, hosting the Multinational Maritime Coordination Center, MMCC, Zone E, which facilitates joint effort with Benin, Togo, and Niger. Next is the African Union Lomé Charter 2016. This charter supports blue economy development, maritime security, and sustainable resource management across Africa's coastline. It encourages members to promote local ownership of maritime security efforts and address root causes of coastal insecurity. I will now consider the stakeholders involved in coastal border security and their roles. Securing Nigeria's international coastal border communities requires the active involvement of diverse array of stakeholders that include, among others, we have the Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Customs, and Nigerian Immigration Service. The Nigerian Navy is the primary maritime defense force responsible for securing Nigeria's territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, and maritime assets. It conducts sea patrols, surveillance, interdiction, and counter-piracy operations. The NN also plays a central role in enforcing the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offenses Act, often in coordination with NIMASA and the Marine Police. Recent efforts, such as Operation Delta Safe, Delta Sanity 1 and 2, and Operation Calm Waters, have focused on deterring oil theft, piracy, and other maritime crimes. Other stakeholder agencies include Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, National Drug Enforcement Agency, Nigerian Marine Administration and Safety Agency, Nigerian Police Force, and Civil Defense Corps. Assessment of stakeholders' roles and challenges. Challenges of the usually encountered by stakeholders include collaboration and intelligence sharing. The challenge of sharing intelligence among the stakeholders responsible for the crime control within the maritime district is one of the major hindrance to security within the maritime communities. Sharing of intelligence is not, made in a way to encourage this because of, rivalry among agencies. And there is no how operations can succeed without adequate information sharing among the stakeholders. Jurisdiction the regional overlap and institutional fragmentation. Many stakeholders operate with overlapping mandates, especially in enforcement, arrest, and prosecution. In most cases, offenders of maritime crimes get away because of the confusion that arises within the stakeholders on who punish what and who actually is responsible for different offenses that were committed by the non-state actors. So jurisdictional overlaps and institutional fragmentation has been recognized as one of the challenges. Each of the stakeholders mentioned operate under a different law. So lack of united law that will combine whatever we do has become a challenge. The Nigerian NIMASA operates under its own law. The Navy operates under the Armed Forces Act. Civil defense have their own legal framework and institutional frameworks. So harmonizing such laws will go a long way to simplify the work of the stakeholders as far as combating maritime crimes in Nigeria is concerned. Capacity gaps and technological limitation. A lot of the agencies involved in maritime crime prevention activities have challenge of inadequate infrastructure and technology deployment to enhance their operation. So provision of such things that have to do with technology is the only way to simplify their design. The Nigerian Navy and Marine Police have limited operational boat, surveillance radars, and nighttime capability. The custom and immigration personnel in riverine and rural areas often lack mobility tools such as speedboats and all-terrain vehicles. Many community vigilantes operate without formal training, weapons, or communication equipment. In addition, there is insufficient investment in maritime intelligence technology such as drones, satellite tracking, and automatic identification system for real-time shipping monitoring. Community trust and civil-military relation is also a challenge. Many coastal communities do not trust government agencies, often due to past abuses, perceived neglect, or lack of community consultation. In some cases, military operations against illegal oil bunkering or piracy have resulted in civilian casualties, destruction of homes, and disruption of livelihood. As a result, community members may be reluctant to share intelligence. Security interventions are viewed as oppressive and exploitative. Traditional rulers and youth groups feel excluded from planning and decision-making. Poor civil-military relations weaken community-based security efforts, leaving room for local criminal and militants to exploit popular grievances for protection or recruitment effort. The weaknesses experienced. Now I will go on policy gaps. The persistent insecurity across Nigerian international coastal border communities stems only from operational weaknesses, but also not only from operational weaknesses, but from deep-seated policy and governance gaps. These policy voids affect everything from coordination and legislation to accountability and community integration. Regrettably, there is no unified national coastal security policy that coordinates the activities of the multi-stakeholders, military, paramilitary, civil, and community-based actors. Lack of unified policy that will bring together the effort of the stakeholders has been a challenge, as I said earlier. I will go to recommendation. Now, it is therefore recommended that the leadership of this wonderful platform should consider facilitating as follows. or harmonization of Nigeria's laws with suppression of piracy and other maritime offenses act, implementation of community inclusion frameworks in all coastal security operations, and strengthen the role of local security communities involving traditional rulers, women leaders, youth groups, and religious bodies. Dedication of a percentage of revenue from maritime taxes and crude oil export to coastal security funding, and create a public-private maritime security fund involving oil companies, shipping firms, and international donors. Strengthening of Nigeria's commitment to the Yaoundé Code of Conduct and ECOWAS maritime protocols, and establishment of joint maritime border patrol units with Cameroon and Benin republics. Development of a national coastal security monitoring framework with quarterly performance duties of all key agencies. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, one of the most critical parts of being a master of ceremonies at an event like this is time management. I remember one of those days I had to stop a man of God or plead with a man of God to punctuate. And he mentioned that he would withdraw the grace of God that has been helping me grow. So when I had to walk with the Chief of Naval Staff to conclude, I was afraid. Just so that they wouldn't remove the cover of security that I have around my life. But in the end, we are here. Please, I'd like to ask that we now give this opportunity to His Excellency, the host governor of Akwa Ibom State, who will come to speak and then officially declare this summit open. Can we put our hands together and welcome His Excellency, Pastor Umoina, Governor of Akwa Ibom State.
Thank you so much. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Distinguished Senator Akon Eyahi, Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governors of Bayelsa, Cross River, Ondo, Delta, Ogun, representative of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, and particularly the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa, who is the chairman of the Boundary Commission, the DG National Boundary Commission, who has joined us here again. You're welcome to Akwa Ibom. The representative of the Chief of the Naval Staff, who is a keynote speaker, we welcome you. Distinguished senators and members of the House of Representatives that are here with us. The Honorable Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, that is ably represented by the Deputy Speaker. The Chairman of our party, the All Progressive Congress, and all members of the State Working Committee that are here. Honorable members of the Akwa Ibom State House of Representatives, especially the Chairman, House Committee on Boundary Matters, our own sister. The Secretary to the State Government, Head of the Civil Service, Executive Assistant and Chief Delivery Advisor to the Governor, Honorable Commissioners, Special Advisors, Delivery Advisors, Honorary Special Advisors that are here with us, Service Commanders, both serving and retired, Captains of Industries, Federal Commissioners that are here with us, Chairmen of Boards, Commissions and Agencies, members of the clergy, that have joined us here, permanent secretaries, heads of extra-ministerial department, the representative of the executive secretary, boundary committees, development agencies, our revered royal fathers that have come from around the coastal communities and states to join us here, chairmen of local government areas, senior citizens, elders, critical stakeholders, presidents and members of sociocultural groups that are here, members of the delegation from other coastal states, specially invited guests, summit participants, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Akwa Ibom State, welcome you to our dear state, to the inaugural summit of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform. Permit me to thank our Deputy Governor, distinguished Senator Akone Yayi, for the great work she has been doing in dealing with and managing border issues around us. That you all have decided to come here for this event, being the inaugural event, is a testament to the inclusive work she has been doing in this critical area. The platform, I understand, is a product of deep thought, occasioned by recommendations of the African Union Integrated Border Governance Strategy, which also is in line with the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation, which took place on March 17, 2022. Today's event, with the theme, Enhancing the Potential of International Coastal Border Communities for National and Recreational Development, the role of stakeholders, has deep national security implications. And I am glad to see the seriousness that is attached to the issue by the attendance of literally all the deputy governors of the coastal states. All the 8 states that make up these platforms are inextricably linked with our neighboring countries, and sometimes border issues may arise, which, if not properly managed through bilateral bilateral treaties signed or existing legal instruments as enunciated by the paper presented by the Chief of Naval Staff, may exacerbate tensions around our border communities. We as a people must continually explore ways to maintain and deepen peace with our neighboring countries and even our states, integrate our people living in riverine communities, and provide them essential amenities, schools, medical facilities, and other basic essentials of life that will help them survive and then continue to thrive in harmony. We must also ensure that they live in a safe, secure, and peaceful environment. I believe this should be some of the focus this conference will recommend and pursue with our various state governments. For us in Akwa Ibom, apart from setting up the first standalone Ministry of Internal Security and Waterways, headed by a retired general of the Nigerian Army, we have supported the Nigerian Navy with patrol boats to help in our waterways. This joint maritime task force, which is under the command of the Nigerian Navy, has helped reduce to negligible proportions the incidents of kidnapping, sea robbery, pipeline vandalism, and other sea crimes, and has also given security guarantees to those living in the riverine areas, as well as acting as a deterrent to any security infractions from our neighbors. We have also provided those living in the riverine areas with modern amenities. We are empowering our fishing communities, and we are currently working on a multi-billion-naira marine infrastructure project in Oron, a major coastal town. This project comprises shore protection, terminal buildings, 2 passenger ferry boats, warehouses, coal rooms, cargo and passenger jetties, a recreational garden, and beachfront. We have also provided a security outpost for the Nigerian Navy within this development. These people in the riverine areas are very critical to the development of our blue economy, which is one of the key areas of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration. On protecting our communities living in the ocean area, we're privileged this year to attend an Ocean Rights Conference in Nice, and my brother, Governor of Bayelsa State, and representative of the Lagos State Governor were in that conference. And it's true, like the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa and Chairman have rightly noted, most communities are being washed away. I believe we can do something to continue to save these communities. The experience that we gathered from that conference should be able to come in handy to be able to help in this conference so that we can get to work and help protect our communities before they are completely wiped out by ocean rise. We must protect our communities and also assuage the effect of climate change. I'm sure the deliberations of this summit will help deepen the work you are all doing on border issues. I'd like to wish you a very fruitful deliberation. And on that note, please permit me, on behalf of all of us, the governors of the coastal states of this nation, to declare this summit opened. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Please, we'll just take a group photograph here. I would invite the deputy governors, all the deputy governors first, to join His Excellency for the group photograph. Immediately after that, we'll have the Chief of Naval Staff and the Director General National Boundary Commission join them. But this will be the first picture. Please, the DG, NBC, and the Chief of Naval Staff to also join. One to the right, one to the left. I think that would... Okay. Thank you. The brass band, if you hold on for a minute, so that I can emphasize that this summit has just officially begun, which is to say we have not come to the end, we are rather just at the end of the beginning. So please remain seated as conversations will continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, this event continues. Her Excellency, our Deputy Governor, after seeing off the Governor, will return. Kindly remain on your seats, please. Your Excellencies, we welcome once again the Akwa Ibom State Council for Arts and Culture for their dance presentation. Council for Arts and Culture, Akwa Ibom State, thank you very much. Thank you, the Council for Arts and Culture. Please, you can exit now. Thank you very much. Beautiful display of the rich cultural heritage of Akwa Ibom State. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, our esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're still here for the inaugural summit of the Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform. We thank His Excellency, our dear Governor. We thank their Excellencies, the Deputy Governors of the coastal states of Nigeria who are here. We thank the DG of the National Border Commission. We thank the Chief of Naval Staff here represented and other dignitaries who are here. We'd like to appeal that we all please resume our seats as this summit continues now, as I very respectfully invite the Director General of the National Boundary Commission for his paper presentation. He will be speaking on achieving cross-border peace and trade relationship using local communities as agents for regional development.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, our host state, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, who's the chairman of this platform, Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governors of Delta, Ondo, Cross River, Ogun, and the representative of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, please permit me to stand on the well-established protocol. The topic of my paper, a little bit different from the one contained in the text, is titled Nigeria's maritime zones and the prospect of peaceful cross-border trade. The platform, as you all know, is established principally to address the issues of coastal states, coastal border communities, and the promotion of cross-border cooperation between Nigeria and her neighbors. In this case, we're focusing on our neighbors in the Gulf of Guinea, that we share common maritime zones. So the outline of the paper is, as we have it there, borders and borderland communities, maritime zones, Nigeria's maritime boundaries, status of Nigeria's maritime borders, Nigeria's coastal states, and their proximity to neighboring countries in the Gulf of Guinea, our neighbors. The role of coastal communities in promoting peace and security in the maritime region. Prospects for cross-border trade, challenges, and conclusion. I'll make it very brief. So we'll get to the next paper. Of course, this is just to define what borders and border communities are. Very quite straightforward. The communities are those that are in close proximity to the international boundary within the coastal region. And we've known, okay, next slide, please. Of course, we have been told that the coastal states, as far as Nigeria is concerned, start from Lagos all through to Cross River. And there are so many local governments that are involved. But before we kickstart, let's understand what the maritime zones are. When we talk about maritime zones, we start with the baseline. The baseline is the starting point, just the starting point. Because there are different laws that govern the various zones. It's important that we should know them and also know what rights we have in each of the zones. The baseline is the starting point from where we measure all other zones. Starting from the starting point, which is the baseline, we get to the territorial sea. This is the point that starts from the baseline up to about 12 nautical miles into the sea. It's called the territorial sea. It is part of the country where we have all rights. The country has all rights. We can police it properly, harvest all the resources that we can from there, and make sure that, because we have all rights as far as that territorial sea is concerned. After the territorial sea, we move to the contiguous zone, which is starting from the starting point, the baseline, up to 24 nautical miles. That is where we also have our rights, but our rights are also limited. There are some other rights that we can't exercise within that territorial zone, which is known as the contiguous zone. After the contiguous zone, we have what we call the exclusive economic zone, EEZ. This is as far as 200 nautical miles. In that zone, we have rights and we have limitations to what our rights are. Where we have the zones of, the EEZ of Nigeria, overlapping with the EEZ of our neighbors, there are some amendments that are made, and there are rights, and there are rights that the other country may have, and there are rights that we should have. So it's important that we should know that it is not where we have exclusive rights. We have some rights and we have limitations. Then after the exclusive zone, we have what we call the continental shelf. That is the area where we can move beyond the 200 nautical miles. We can move as far as 350 nautical miles. That is provided by the United Nations. If we can prove that, yes, our territory scientifically extends through to that far. Nigeria has just gotten extension using this extended continental shelf principle. We have extended our territory, and what we've gained is about 16,000 square kilometers, which is very, very much. I say it's about how many times the size of Lagos. In this zone, we have the powers to exploit the resources, but we also have to allow other countries free access through that zone. But we have the rights to exploit the resources. Once it's granted, we can exploit the resources. So let's move to the next slide. Of course, we know that Nigeria shares maritime boundaries with some of our neighbors. We have with Benin, Ghana, within the West African sub-region. We share boundary with, maritime boundary with Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Sao Tome and Principe, within the Central African sub-region. These are neighbors that we share common maritime boundaries. And we want to see how we can exploit the relationship of promotion of cross-border cooperation between us and those countries so that Nigeria can maximally benefit from the exploitation of the maritime zone. The next slide. Of course, this is just to give you the various zones, countries we share boundaries with. With Benin, we have a treaty which we have signed. With Nigeria, Cameroon, the International Court of Justice has defined the maritime zone, and we have established it. Between Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea, we have a maritime zone, a maritime boundary that we are yet to conclude, but we have substantially defined the boundary. With Sao Tome and Principe, that is the country where our EEZ and theirs overlap. And because it overlaps, we have decided that instead of, before we are able to define exactly the boundary, let us jointly manage the overlap. So we have in existence what we call the Nigeria Sao Tome Joint Development Authority, that is saddled with the management of the common overlap for the benefit of the two countries. This is part of the principles of cross-border cooperation that we try as much as possible to preach and promote. Nigeria is championing the issue of promotion of cross-border cooperation, so we're living by example. With Ghana, we have a maritime boundary which we are also about to establish. And of course, I have mentioned the fact that we have extended our continental shelf to the extent that we have an extension of our maritime territory that will be of benefit. That area is rich in so many resources, both hydrocarbon and some other mineral resources, which the country will have to exploit. Next. Of course, this is the map showing the various boundaries we share with our neighbors. And it shows arrow to show how far some of these countries are from Nigeria. The next slide, because this one is quite interesting. We are not in doubt as to the fact that the coastal states play a very vital role in terms of promotion of economic and security of this country. That is why it is important, and we must commend the proactiveness of this platform and the leadership that they want to see what we can do to make sure that the maritime zone is properly manned and put in a situation whereby we can benefit both economically and security-wise. The next slide. Well, this is just to give you a kind of vector approximate distance between Nigeria and between the states, the coastal states and some of these countries with which we share common maritime boundaries. You can see that Cameroon is quite close to Cross River, close to Akwa Ibom, not too far too from Rivers, Bayelsa, and also, a little bit far from Delta. You can see the distances, the vector distances in kilometers from the state, the farthest point along the coast to the nearest point in that country. Between Nigeria and Cameroon, from Cross River, just about 5 kilometers. From Akwa Ibom, 25 kilometers. From Rivers, 144 kilometers. Bayelsa, a little bit far, 270 kilometers. And also from Sao Tome, please go back to it. Sao Tome, you can see we're quite a little bit far from each other, but at least we have that understanding whereby we manage our common overlap. The distance between Equatorial Guinea and the states of Nigeria, the coastal states, you can see. With Akwa Ibom, it's about 95 kilometers, Cross River 103 kilometers. Now, these distances notwithstanding, our people go as far as close to their own shores for activities, including mining, including fishing, and some other exploitation of some resources. So it's important that the coastal states, the communities of these coastal states are properly articulated, and we try to see how we can interface with our neighbors for joint exploitation of some of these sources for the benefit of these communities and the two countries. It will help in the promotion of security and the development, economic development of these countries. The next slide. Now, the role of coastal communities in promoting peace and security in the maritime region. This platform is very novel and a very key one. Is an addition to some existing platforms whereby the border communities are taken into focus, and everything will be done, as His Excellency the Governor has said. Whatever we get from this summit, it will help and encourage the various states to ensure that the communities affected are properly positioned to be able to shine in terms of cooperation with their neighbors across the sea in other countries, and also for the benefit of enhancing security and economic development in these various communities. Now, for the role of these communities, we have community surveillance and intelligence sharing. You will agree with me that if these communities are properly positioned in terms of development, we can be sure that we have community surveillance and intelligence sharing. They will provide the necessary intelligence for our various security outfits. It will help in the promotion of security and also enhance development. Of course, they will support the law enforcement agencies as much as they can, and also the communities will promote awareness on maritime boundaries, safety, security, and also foster cultural activities that will promote interface and cross-border cooperation with our sister neighbors. Now, these communities can help to prevent conflict and build peace between these communities and their neighbors. So that's what we're trying to say. The African Union is focusing seriously on cross-border cooperation as a way of integrating Africa. And Nigeria is championing that very much. We have gone into all kinds of agreements to promote cross-border cooperation. So whatever the communities can be encouraged to prevent any conflict and build peace is going to be quite helpful to Nigeria and other countries in terms of security, and also to protect the environment, because a healthy maritime environment will contribute meaningfully to the economic development and promotion of security of the country. The next slide. Prospects for cross-border trade. We know most of our communities along the coast, they're into fishing of all types of resources. Fish, streams, crabs, lobsters, and whatever what we have that are meaningful. So some of these things are also traded between these communities in some ways with neighbors. If the country can help to provide necessary security, and avenue for encouraging trade between this our riverine communities and the other neighbors. It will help in boosting development of these communities. So growing regional market under the African Free Continental Trade Agreement, we can tap into that and try to see how we can benefit and make sure that these communities also have the benefit. Now, maritime trade, transport, and ferry services development. If ways of enhancing maritime transport can be developed between Nigeria and some of our neighbors, it will help greatly to promote economic development of these various communities along the coast. So it's quite important that we think along that line to see how can we facilitate transport, maritime transport, either in the form of ships, ferry services, and of course, our security agencies have guaranteed that they are doing all they can to make sure that whatever trade, business, or transport we need to make between us and our neighbors, they will guarantee security because of their constant surveillance of the maritime zones. So it's important that we can tap from the creation of maritime transport and ferry services to see how we can encourage the communities to enhance their economic activities and see how we can get them across through cross-border cooperation from Nigeria to our neighbors. We also have economic diversification and blue economic potentials. Of course, nobody's in doubt as to the fact that for meaningful development of the blue economy, the maritime communities, the coastal communities are very key. They are not only having easy access to some of these facilities, they can guarantee their security by making sure that they provide the necessary intelligence and surveillance of the facilities in these areas. So for economic diversification and blue economic potentials and development, the coastal communities are quite key. That's why the country needs to invest so much in them so that we can maximize our benefits in the blue economic potentials. The last slide. Of course, challenges, it's not to say that these communities do not have challenges. They have challenges. And these challenges, some of the challenges are captured here. We have poor infrastructure, and sometimes we have custom bottlenecks that helps, that kind of put some obstacles to free trade between the communities and their neighbors across the maritime zones. So it's important that some of these things should be looked into. We have issues of inconsistent trade policies and tariffs between Nigeria and our neighbors. So that is why it's important that the cross-border cooperation must be emphasized. And of course, Nigeria is piloting that process and also leading by example. So whatever we can do to articulate, study what policies we have, the ones that are obtainable, and see how we can at least harmonize them for the benefit of the country, our coastal areas, and our neighbors, in the interest of integration of African states. Now, of course, we know the coastal areas, they are prone to flooding, environmental challenges of rise in the sea, and some erosions. So these are things that we know they exist, so we have to also brainstorm to see what can we do to make sure that some of these environmental degradation and coastal erosions are being curtailed for the benefit of the coastal communities. Need to establish local border platforms that will connect the coastal communities. If we can encourage cooperatives amongst them, so that some of the activities are properly regulated and articulated, and perhaps, and we'll sell them to our neighbors and try to see if there can be synergy and cooperation to see how some of the benefits can be for both countries maximally. So by way of conclusion, we know the maritime zones of Africa constitute a very large area, and it has resources that we can tap into. And to do that, we have to make sure that we identify our coastal areas, develop them properly, have their confidence, buy their confidence, make sure that they are properly positioned to provide intelligence, and see how we can empower them to maximize in their various activities of farming, fishing, for export to our various neighbors and even across Africa as much as we can. So we can leverage the provisions of regional bodies like ECOWAS, ECAS, and try to see how we can help to develop and promote cross-border cooperation between our various maritime communities and our neighbors. So Nigeria has to invest, develop them, articulate them, and guide them properly, and enact various policies and regulations that can help to encourage and promote them. Thank you very much for listening. This is just a brief introduction to now give us an idea as to our various border communities, our rights, the zones we have, and the communities, the countries we share boundaries with, and how we can tap into establishing cooperation between us and them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the Braj Man. That was a very powerful insight and perspectives on how to achieve cross-border peace and trade relationship. And I want to believe, and I also want to believe all of you gathered here today would believe and accept that the Director General of National Boundary Commission has done justice to this topic, and hence it deserves some better round of applause. Please, let's put our hands together once again and encourage him. Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you agree that we are moving at a very fast pace, but we wouldn't just sit and go at this event without taking some words of solidarity by ways of goodwill messages. So please permit me at this juncture to please request that we switch to the goodwill message section, and to begin this session for us this afternoon is the woman, a beautiful woman that is in Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, the House Committee Chairman on Boundary and Conflict Resolution. She's no other than Right Honorable Mrs. Precious Selong. Please, let's put our hands together and celebrate her as she begins this goodwill message for us. Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, and all the Deputy Governors here present, I recognize the members of the National Assembly and my boss, the Right Honorable Speaker of Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, hereby represented by the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Kufra Basiedidem. Your Excellency, I beg to stand on already established protocol earlier enunciated by Ubon Marcus. I am Right Honorable Mrs. Precious Selong, member representing Urefon Oruko State Constituency in Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Chairman, House Committee on Boundary and Conflict Resolution. I am here to support my mother, Her Excellency, on this. At the Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform Summit held here at Cedar Park Hotel, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State on August 8, 2025. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of duty that I warmly welcome you all to this crucial and timely summit. I bring greetings from Mr. Speaker and the 8th Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, as chairman of this committee, I consider it a distinct honor to be part of this summit focused on unlocking the developmental potentials embedded in our international and regional coastal border communities. As the world moves into untapped potentials of the blue economy, especially in states like ours, which is rich with maritime trade, tourism, oil and gas, fisheries and aquaculture, and cultural exchange, must take advantage. However, these opportunities are often hindered by boundary disputes, inadequate infrastructure, insecurity, piracy, and total neglect. As stakeholders, we understand that sustainable development cannot flourish in an environment of conflict and uncertainty. That is why the House Committee continues to work closely with relevant agencies to foster peaceful coexistence, to implement effective border management framework, and encourage meaningful investment in border communities and addressing challenges to ensure long-term development. And resolutions that will emerge from this summit will shape policy directions, improve interagency coordination, and create practical pathways for economic transformation of our coastal borders and exposing them to blue economy environments. As we begin this summit, I urge all of us to think beyond boundaries. Let us envision opportunities, build bridges, and engineer solutions that will uplift the lives of those living along our international coastal borders, and by contributing meaningfully to national and regional prosperity. Once again, I welcome you to Akwa Ibom State, the land of promise, where we enjoy peace, hospitality, and boundless potentials. Thank you, and God bless.
We thank you to the chairman of the House Committee, Right Honorable Mrs. Precious Salom. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're still here in the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform Inaugural Summit. This summit is very strategic because of its theme, which is enhancing the potential of international coastal border communities for national and regional development, the role of stakeholders. It is time for us now to hear from the stakeholders themselves, the ladies and gentlemen who pilot border affairs in their various states. It is therefore my pleasure to very respectfully invite for his message here in this occasion, the Deputy Governor of Delta State, His Excellency Sir Monday Oyeme. Thank you, the man.
Your Excellencies, my colleague Deputy Governors of Nigerian International Coastal States, ably led by Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Lawrence Erojapo. Your Excellency, our host, Senator Ekon Eyarinye. Your Excellencies, my other colleagues, Ondo, Cross River, Ogun, Lagos State, I recognize every one of you. Please permit me to ride like my chairman wrote on all other already established protocols. I bring you greetings from the government and the good people of Delta State. It is my honor to be part of this important inaugural meeting of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform. This gathering is a major step in strengthening our border governance and promoting peaceful solutions to disputes along our coastal boundaries. In Delta State, we place high premium on peace and stability in our border communities. We have made deliberate efforts to discourage conflict in areas affected by boundary disagreement with neighboring states. This meeting is timely as it highlights the vast opportunities within the blue economy, especially in sustainable maritime resource management, in fishery, tourism, and coastal infrastructure. With the proposed extension of Nigerian continental shelf from 200 to 220 nautical miles, we stand to gain greatly. But to fully tap into this potential, we must also confront the pressing challenges that comes with it, particularly piracy, smuggling, and other maritime crimes that threaten our national security and economic growth. This platform gives us chance to deepen cooperations and improve coordinations and promote a united front in managing Nigerian coastal borders. Through open dialogue and shared commitment, we can unlock the full value of our coastal resources while protecting the lives and livelihood of our people. I am confident that the ideas and strategies shared today will lead to concrete actions. Let us stay focused on our common goals: peace, security, inclusive development of all our communities. May today's dialogue result in practical steps towards peace and development. May we go home more enriched and happier and more united than we came in today. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, the Deputy Governor of Delta State. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we know that we have a state that has also taken some critical steps in having some plans for the future. In that state, we know, in Ondo State, there's a plan that I know that is called Ondo Vision 2055. And I know that in this vision encompasses the strategic aim to achieving sustainable development, which we can't really achieve without taking charge of our coastal borders. So let me therefore at this juncture please invite the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Dr. Olayide Adelame, MNI, to please accept to come on stage for his goodwill message.
Let me start by recognizing the chairman of this forum, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Lawrence Edward Yako, my brother and my friend. And let me also recognize Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, who has been working assiduously to make sure that this conference, takes place. Thank you very much. And Your Excellencies, my colleagues from Ogun State, from Cross River State, from Lagos State, the Deputy Governor is being represented by the Permanent Secretary. Then I recognize you all. The time is fast spent. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I also know that the DG Boundary Commission is here and the representative of the Navy. Yeah. Sorry. So I want to commend our forum Deputy Governor for implementing the resolutions of the last November under the guidance of National Border Commission. I also acknowledge the leadership of Senator Lawrence Edward, the chairman of the forum, our co-host, Her Excellency Senator Akon Eyakanyi, and all my colleagues, excellencies, who have worked tirelessly to make this workshop possible. This gathering is timely and strategic. It brings together stakeholders, coastal states, local government chairmen, and our revered traditional rulers to address border security and how to achieve peace in the border communities in order to unlock economic opportunities for our people. I want to use Jamaica as an example. Jamaica is a country of about less than 3 million people. And every year, the statistics we have for 2024, I think they were able to attract over 4 million tourists. And what they only have is just the sea and the coast. But what they did that is good for them was they make sure that they secure their coastlines, and they also try to make sure that there is peace. And that's what attracts those tourists. And we can do the same. And that's why we are here to discuss, to cross-fertilize ideas and come up with solutions that will assist us, to achieve this. And this, in Jamaica, they made about $4.3 billion, just from tourism. So there are a lot, which means that there are a lot of potentials in Nigeria that we have not really exploited. At this point, let me appreciate our president, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, who has taken 2 bold policy decisions since assuming office: the creation of the Ministry of Blue Economy, the construction of the coastal highway from Lagos to Calabar, which is ongoing. These landmark initiatives are clear demonstration of the federal government's commitment to the growth of our coastal states. But these opportunities may not be fully realized if we do not develop strategies to secure our borders and safeguard and sustain the peaceful coexistence of our coastal communities. Achieving this will be a game changer to the economic emancipation of our coastal states. Your Excellencies, top government functionaries, and our revered royal fathers here, this is why we are gathered here today. I trust that the experts presenting papers today, I think we presented about 2 papers or 2, will enrich our discussions and stimulate pragmatic solutions. I encourage everyone to share experiences so that our recommendations will be inclusive and achievable. Together, let us turn today's dialogue into decisive action, strengthening our borders, unlocking the full potentials of our blue economy, and securing peace and prosperity for our people. The future of our border communities is in our hands, and together we will make it brighter. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud the Deputy Governor of Ondo State. Your Excellency, we thank you too. Your Excellencies, very special guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure now to invite a gentleman who is here for this summit from the Paradise City, the Deputy Governor of Cross River State, His Excellency, Right Honorable Peter Ode.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, our leader, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, too much accident have happened with your surname today. Let me not make the same mistake of falling into that trap. So may I just recognize you as our chairman and the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. Your Excellency, our hosts, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, and other Deputy Governors that are here present. May I especially recognize the representative of the Chief of Naval Staff, Royal Admiral Indanusa, a DG Boundary Commission. Thank you for that very wonderful speech that you have made. I believe my team and I will have an engagement with you later to discuss further on some of the issues of which you have raised. Our royal fathers that are here present, I will not forget to recognize members of my constituencies, except I'm not going to leave here, and that is the Speaker being represented by my friend, the Deputy Speaker of the Cross River State House of Assembly. Sorry. You see, I'm so used to Cross River State, my good friend and brother, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, and other members of the Cross River State House, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly that are here, and other members of the Cross River State House of Assembly. I can see my brother and friend, Honorable Stanley Boise in Semo. Akwa Ibom State Executive Council here present, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Executive Governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Basi Ededotu, and the entire delegation, I extend our warm greeting and heartfelt goodwill to all participants on the International Coastal State Border Platform inaugural meeting. This gathering represents more than a meeting of mind. It is a convergence of shared vision, mutual respect, and collective commitment to peace, cooperation, and sustainable development along our coastal and maritime boundaries. Permit me to iterate that as coastal state, we are bound not only by water that connect us, but also by the responsibilities we share in ensuring fair, transparent, and mutually beneficial management of our maritime frontiers. This conference offers us an invaluable platform to address challenges, explore opportunity, and strengthen the bond of collaboration among nations. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that the upcoming meeting and discussion will engage the following core objectives as enshrined in the UN Maritime Law of the Sea. 1. Facilitate dialogue and confidence building among adjacent coastal states. 2. Harmonize boundary delimitation practices using technical, legal, and diplomatic tools. 3. Share best practice and lesson learned, e.g., the TMOC constellation of West African delimitation processes. 4. Coordinate on maritime security and critical infrastructural protection. 5. Integrate climate resilience into border and coastal governance. In addition, this platform could not have come at a more opportune time. I therefore commend the National Boundary Commission and all stakeholders for the remarkable initiative aimed at restoring dignity and unity across border states. I will not leave here by saying that I come from a state that have been unfairly and unjustly treated by the unjust ceding of the Bakassi Peninsula. We talk about international cooperation, but the people of Bakassi have been abandoned, left by both the international community and even the Nigerian state. We have people living as refugees in their country since 2012, when this unjust and unholy ceding of Bakassi Peninsula took place. As we speak, that area has been abandoned without any form of international, Africa, or the national government support. I hope and I pray that part of our deliberation here will look into the plight of the impoverished and forgotten people of the Bakassi Peninsula. May this deliberation here inspire innovative solutions, foster unity, and pave the way for a lasting partnership and protect our oceans, respect our borders, and uplift our coastal communities. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I wish to congratulate the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State for hosting us and for the good work ongoing in the state. I wish all participants a fruitful engagement and a successful meeting. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Let's celebrate the Deputy Governor of the Cross River State, Right Honorable Peter Ode. Thank you so much. I think we can give the Cross River State Deputy Governor a better round of applause. Please, let's give him a better round of applause. Thank you very much. God bless you. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's often said, I don't know how many men believe when it is said that the future is female. But what I do most often is to draw the attention to the reality facing us, even in Akwa Ibom State. There is no local government today that you have a man as a chairman, that you don't have a woman as a vice chairman. I'm sure that itself is a pointer that that statement, that assertion will become a reality. And so I have a vision that even when we have this as the inaugural summit, that in the next 2-3 years, when we shall be having the summit of...
Good afternoon, ladies and representative of the Chief of Naval Staff, the Director General of the National Boundary Commission, our royal fathers, members of the National and State Assemblies, local government chairmen, distinguished guests, please permit me to adopt the existing protocols. It's a great honor to be here today at the inaugural summit of the Nigerian International. Great honor to be here today at the inaugural summit of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform, a timely and strategic initiative created in partnership with the National Boundary Commission. I bring warm greetings and best wishes from the Governor of Ogun State, His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun CON, and indeed from the good and forward-looking people of our state. Let me begin by appreciating the government and people of Akwa Ibom State for their hospitality. I particularly acknowledge our gracious hosts, His Excellency Pastor Umo Enoch, PhD, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, and my colleague, the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Senator Dr. Akan Enyayi, for the warm reception and for providing this enabling environment for us to gather and collaborate. Special recognition must also go to the chairman of this platform and my brother, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Senator Lawrence Erujapo, for his leadership and commitment in bringing this important idea to fruition. This forum is a product of vision, coordination, and resolve, and I commend all those who have played a part in its establishment. This platform, originally conceived by the National Boundary Commission, is rooted in a clear understanding of the potential of our coastal communities, rich in natural resources, culture, and human capital. By leveraging their proximity to the Atlantic Ocean, we can unlock significant opportunities for national growth, regional integration, and local development. Moreover, this platform provides a unified voice for states with international coastal borders to resolve shared concerns, advocate for necessary attention, and collaborate on development strategies that directly impact our border communities. Now, with the renewed vision of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, particularly through the ambitious construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, this platform has assumed even greater significance. The communities represented here today will be directly affected, economically, environmentally, and socially. While this infrastructure will certainly bring development and opportunities, it will also come with challenges that we must collectively prepare for. As we deliberate today, I'm hopeful that this summit will set a strong foundation for continued dialogue, collaboration, and progress. Together, we can make this platform a veritable tool for regional development and a means to ensure that the voices of our border communities are heard, their interests protected, and their potentials fully realized. I look forward to engaging, learning, and contributing to our discussions, and I'm confident that with the support of our governors, this initiative will yield tangible outcomes for our states and for the nation. Thank you very much. Happy deliberations, and God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud Her Excellency, the Ogun State Deputy Governor. Thank you, the band. Thank you, the band. Your Excellency, the last in this series of Goodwill messages will be from the representative of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. It is my pleasure to invite the Permanent Secretary of the Office of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Mrs. Mobolaji Daba, as she comes for Her Excellency's, as she comes for His Excellency's message of goodwill, please.
Good evening, Your Excellencies, the here present. I don't have anything written, but I do bring greetings from Mr. Deputy, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat of Lagos State. He really wished to be here until exigencies of duty had to make him to ask me to come here to represent him. As you well know, border issues has dragged on for a long time. We talk the talk, but we really never do the work. So to have an inaugural summit that will take care of the coastal communities and address several issues that has been bothering them is a welcome development for Lagos State. We in Lagos State have developed a ferry service to cover the waterways in Lagos State, and we have even gone into collaboration, developing ferries locally. So when the waterways are developed and we can agree on certain things here, Lagos State wishes to even go international, developing collaboration up to Ghana in terms of waterways transportation. So whatever we can come up here is a welcome development, and that is why Lagos State is well represented. Even though the Deputy Governor is not here, we have our royal fathers from the coast line communities that are present. Well done, sir. They are there. Greetings. We have also the Surveyor General present. So I wish, on behalf of the Deputy Governor, that this time around, whatever we come up with will be implemented, and all of us can go home and say we really did something to make sure that border issues in Nigeria has been promoted forward, and something is done during our time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Permanent Secretary, Office of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, representing His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, from one part of this occasion to the other, we've had messages of goodwill, and it is time now to have the concluding paper presentations. We shall take just two, Your Excellency, yes, just two paper presentations, and the speakers have agreed to please just have an abridged presentation, a summarized presentation in just about 3 minutes each. It is my pleasure to invite the Executive Secretary of the Boundary Communities Development Agency. He is represented by Sadiq Issa, the Director, Planning, Intergovernmental Affairs and Community Relations of that agency. He will be speaking on the topic, providing social infrastructure in border communities, a panacea for reintegration to Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, MC. Let me correct you. It's Border Communities Development Agency. I think this is the third time I'm doing that. Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governors and Chairmen and Chairpersons of the Coastal States Boundary Committee, under the able leadership of the erudite Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Lawrence Erujako, the Director General of National Boundary Commission, my elder brother, Surveyor Adamu, the representative of the Chief of Naval Staff, Royal Fathers here present. Permit me to please rest on the already established protocol. First of all, Your Excellency, the Chairman of the Platform for Border Coastal State, I want to kindly plead, 3 minutes is not enough for a paper like this. Thank you very much. My Executive Secretary is unavoidably absent. Right now he's on his way back to the country as part of a delegation under the office of the Vice President, who recently traveled to Canada to have a meeting under the auspices of the Presidential Committee on financial and economic inclusion, and it's all geared towards getting private investors to invest in communities in Nigeria that are unserved. And you will agree with me that border communities are the main unserved communities in the country. So I'm here to present his paper. I hope I'll do justice to it. Permit me to begin by painting a picture that demands our collective attention. Nigeria's 3,000 border communities have long suffered neglect, lacking essential infrastructure such as roads, schools, healthcare, potable water, and electricity. The seriousness of the deplorable conditions of Nigerian border communities have over the years negatively impacted on the lives and livelihoods of the over 25 million inhabitants of these diverse communities. This has contributed to non-integration of these communities into the mainstream economy and society, depriving them of their right as citizens to basic amenities. Border communities serve as frontiers between Nigeria and our neighboring countries. While this can be a source of economic benefit, it is common knowledge that due to the porous nature of our borders and long years of gross neglect of border communities, criminal elements have taken advantage of the vulnerability of these communities to perpetrate their heinous acts such as terrorism, armed banditry, kidnapping, and smuggling. Of course, the representative of the Chief of Naval Staff has said a lot about border security and issues like that. Now, the main mission, that is the BCDA mandate, the vision and mission. Of course, Your Excellencies are all aware of why BCDA was created, and of course, the statutory mandate of the agency. Our vision is bold and unambiguous: to develop all border communities by providing basic socio-economic infrastructure amenities through the implementation of planned and sustainable projects. Our mission goes further to be the vehicle for the provision of people-oriented, sustainable, and equitable development projects, ensuring the full integration, commitment, patriotism, and loyalty of our border communities to Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian coastal states. This is a slide. The DG of National Boundary Commission has already spoken and has shown slides of the border, the coastal states. I don't have to say much on that. Let's go straight to the next slide, please. Why social infrastructure? The main topic. Ladies and gentlemen, we must ask ourselves, why is social infrastructure the panacea for reintegration, just like the topic states? The answer is simple, yet profound. People who perceive and experience visible presence of government are more likely to defend and support that government. And that's the truth. Our border communities are characterized by long years of neglect because they are far, they are located at the fringes. They are far from the mainstream. You will agree with me that part of the characteristic of any border community is even the challenges of even accessing these communities. Your Excellencies, all of you seated here, you'll agree with me, from each state that you come from, part of the challenge of even accessing these border communities is roads. Why so? It has been there for quite a while. Now, people who perceive and experience visible presence of government are more likely to defend and support that government. For example, a mother whose child can now attend a functional school will have hope for tomorrow. A father whose family can access clean water and medical care will think twice before being lured into smuggling or illicit cross-border trade. A community that has good access roads, electricity, vocational centers, and modern markets will choose legitimate enterprise over criminality and will certainly have their allegiance and loyalty to our dear fatherland. You will agree with me that in terms of the security architecture of our country, bulk of the insecurity that is perpetrated can be traced back to the porous nature of our borders. Why are our borders porous? It's because the citizens there feel neglected, and their loyalty oftentimes is not to our country. Social infrastructure is more than bricks and mortar. It is a social contract between the state and its citizens. It is the strongest message that we can send to those at the margins. You matter. You belong. This nation is your home, and we will not leave you behind. Now, this is part of the vision of BCDA, and that's what we are trying to do. So in doing that, we have, since inception, that's from 2015 when we started operations to 2023, been able to deliver 2,185 capital projects. Next slide, please. In 2024 alone, the agency executed over 467 projects across Nigerian border regions. And when I talk about border regions, border communities, we have over 3,000 border communities in 105 border local government areas in 21 states. So it's not only the coastal states alone. Nigeria's border region ranging from roads, bridges, boreholes, solar. Please, who is in charge of the slide? Now, these are just pictorial evidence of some of the projects that we've been able to deliver over the years. Both in the social and economic sectors. This year, we are targeting over 250 communities with transformative projects, including potable water systems, solar mini-grids, educational facilities, market infrastructure, agricultural empowerment, women and youth skill development programs. In our coastal border communities alone, BCDA will be executing over 50 new projects. Please, the slide of the projects in coastal communities for 2025. Now, these are our projects intended for border communities located within the coastal states in 2025. This is captured in the 2025 appropriation clearly. So the procurement process has started. What we are waiting now is that for the releases, and that's a major challenge, funds releases. Now, I wish to take the opportunity to thank His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for prioritizing what matters most by significantly enhancing our operational budget. For the first time in our history, the BCDA has a sizable budget that matches its mandate to deliver real impact. Why did I say so? Previously, over the years, for an agency that has a huge mandate like BCDA, the funding pattern was very poor. We're talking about over 3,000 border communities, and in a budget year, we're giving 700 million or $1 billion. But this year, Mr. President has done that. The budget has been scaled up. We have about 50 billion to work with. And we just hope and pray that this money, in terms of releases, because there's a difference between what is budgeted and what is actually released. So we are just hoping and praying that the releases will be commensurate with what, so that we can be, for the first time, have impactful projects. Our executive secretary is a construction management expert, the former commissioner for works in Rivers State, and everybody knows his antecedents. We took time to plan these projects so that they will be green, sustainable, and impactful. In furtherance of the implementation of our mandate, I'm proud to announce our partnership with the National Boundary Commission that has always provided us with the necessary data of border communities and also involves the agency in its border management activities, which has helped enhance our capacity. Now, we've done a lot of partnerships recently. Since the ES assumed duty last year, we have created a lot of partnership across board, both with major ministries that matters, because BCDA alone cannot do it. So we've been able to have credible, please, slides, please. Credible partnerships with main ministries, education, health, power, so that they can supplement on what we are doing already. And I can tell you for free that we have signed MOUs with them recently, 2 weeks back, Ministry of Power. They've asked us, you'll see us knocking on your doors very soon. They've asked us to come with a list of underserved communities in terms of power. For Ministry of Education, we have done a complete mapping of schools. They've helped us with that, in schools at border communities, so that we can see how we can implement, because our strategy is based on data-driven strategy, not just coming up with projects without proof or data. And we are also partnering with state governments, because we believe the subnationals, who are the beneficiaries of our project, have direct impact in terms of the sustainability of this project. So going forward, we will be knocking on your doors together with the Executive Secretary, so that together we can partner and collaborate. Gaps and lessons. These efforts, commendable as they are still a drop in the ocean compared to the vast needs of our border communities. Underfunding remains a major constraint. Many projects stalled due to budget shortfalls. I've mentioned that. I'm just trying to rush it so that I won't see the MCB. Oh. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, what we are doing at BCDA is to impact on the lives of border communities. There is a nexus between development and security. These border communities are the doors and windows of our country. Going forward, part of the first thing that you feel when you go to any border community is the fact, the underserved communities, that you see our children attending schools at the other side of the border, reciting the national anthems of the other country. How do you feel that child will grow up to be in terms of that child's loyalty? We can't do it alone. These projects that we are going to implement and deliver in your state, BCDA won't be there to take responsibility and to take custody. The sustainability of projects delivered by BCDA depends on the ownership model adopted by the benefiting communities. We believe you, as the key stakeholders, have a role to play in sensitizing border communities where BCDA will be implementing projects to take ownership, to look after the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the brass band. Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together once again and celebrate Mr. Sadiq Issa, the representative of the Executive Secretary, Border Communities Development Agency of Nigeria. Your Excellencies, you agree with me that the papers presented at these events have been absolutely expository, not just educating. But even at that, we know it's very common in a classroom that not everyone understands. That could reflect on the faces even behind. And let me quickly say, for those that may not really fully understand, my lecturer once told me that there are 3 ways of understanding. Some people understand before the exams, others understand inside the exams hall, and others understand when? After the exams. I'm happy the Deputy Governor did not say that, because they understand before the exams. Once again, put your hands together and celebrate the Executive Secretary's representative. Thank you so much. The last paper to be presented today centers on international law, border communities, and the blue economy. It would be improper for us to gather here today, discuss all these without looking at the legal perspective. And to deliver this paper is a professor of law with specialization in commercial law. This gentleman specializes also in land law. We are taking him to the law of the sea. He's an expert. He's also a secured credit transaction law, and of course, international humanitarian law. He's also an expert. I'm talking about the one-time Vice Chancellor, University of Uyo, Professor Enefiok Essien, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please let's put our hands together and celebrate him as he accepts to come. Your Excellency, like the last speaker, he had also promised that he only speaks long in the court. So he agreed to use 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Well, Your Excellency, this is actually my second coming. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governors of sister coastal states, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to be brief on the protocol. My topic is international law, border communities, and the blue economy. You will agree that that's a 3-in-1. So if you give me 10 minutes, you have to make it 3. That is 30. 10 times 3. But I'm joking. I will take very short time. I'll try to make it brief. This is the last paper, so I'm sure you're all bored and tired. So I'll try to put some life into it and also make it brief. But I think it's logical that we start with international law, which is also the first in the topic. So in this paper, I will show the significance of international law on border communities and blue economy. How are they related? And that's basically the issue here. In doing that, I start by defining international law very briefly as one that plays a great role in developing blue economy and ensuring sustainable resource management and in the community, local border communities. International law is a body of rules, principles, and norms that primarily govern the relationships and interactions between sovereign states. So ordinarily, international law is concerned with states. By states, I mean nation states, that is countries, not states in a federation. Not like Akwa Ibom State, Bayelsa State, Rivers State, no. So by state, international law, we mean nation states, nations. That is the concern of international law primarily. But international law also concerns itself with international institutions like the World Bank, like United Nations. And exceptionally, international law also concerns individuals. Like when you talk about war crimes are crimes committed by individuals, and it becomes a matter for international law. And then human rights. International human rights. Human rights is international. So it's a matter for international law. So basically, international law has those divisions which are listed there. You have public international law, private international law. Those are the two main arms of international law. Private international law is conflict of laws. It's more or less a law concerning individuals, but has foreign elements. Like if you are a Nigerian, you go to France and marry an English lady. After marrying, you move to Germany and you want to divorce. The issue now arises, which country's law will govern? Or in which country will you file a divorce? That's a matter for private international law or conflict of laws. And that is different from public international law, which we are doing now. Now, international law of the sea is an aspect of public international law. So what we are talking about now is international law of the sea. And when you come to international law of the sea, you are talking about waters. You say water has no plural, but waters, here we talk about the ocean or the sea, and then internal waters. You have the marine water, and then fresh water. Fresh water, one word, fresh water. Because if it's two words, fresh and water, that's different. It's like you want water that you want to drink and it's fresh. But fresh water as one word here is natural water, like streams, lakes, creeks, ponds, and all that. So those are the aspects, because when you talk about coastal community, it also concerns not only the sea and the ocean, but the rivers and the lakes, all aquatic environments. So that's why we say international law has interest in how coastal communities live and how a local blue economy can be developed. And how does it show this interest? How does international law show the interest? In the paper presented by, I think, the DG of Boundary Commission, he made the point about the regimes of the sea, the demarcations of the sea into territorial waters, contiguous zone, territorial waters 12 miles, 12 nautical miles from the baseline, contiguous zones 24 nautical miles from the baseline, and EEZ, exclusive economic zone, 200 miles. All the demarcations are from the baselines. But importantly, the continental shelf. You see, when I was a child, I used to think like a child. I remember our friend, our brother, Paul, who said that. When I was a child, I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I was a child, I used to think that the world, the earth, is such that if you walk around, you fall over. You reach the end of the world and fall. Like this podium now, you walk, you come here, and you fall off. But when I became big, I discovered that it's not so. That you will not fall off. The earth is round. You move and go there. So all the things the same thing with the sea. When you go to the sea does not terminate abruptly. Instead, it prolongs. It will prolongate. It will prolong or elongate. It prolongs or elongates into the sea. And as a land territory, the land that you live, and that's why in resource control case, the argument was that the sea where you drill the oil, it belongs first to the state, like Akwa Ibom State, for instance, from which the land prolongates into the sea. Because without that state, the country will not have that continental shelf. If you carve out, like you took Bakassi, if you take a state and give to Cameroon, if you take Akwa Ibom now and give to another country, Nigeria will not lay claim again to the oil that was derivable by virtue of Akwa Ibom being part of Nigeria. So even though in the international law of the sea, even though the UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, has made it that it concerns countries, when you come to a country, you know that there are component states, like in a federation. We have state. So the land does not stop abruptly. Instead, it elongates and prolongates into the sea. And that's why you have the continental shelf. Continental shelf is land that goes under the sea. And that's where they drill the oil, the offshore oil. Is still part of the land. Still part of your own land. And that's why you have to lay claim to it. And that's why it's 200 miles. But when you have special cases, I think the point was made by the DG, you can claim up to 350 if you can show a special case. So these are the regimes, what we call regimes or demarcations that international law has made possible so that coastal states can have the benefit of their land territory. I go to border communities. Border communities are communities that are coastal Another term for border community is coastal community, or island, riverine communities. So, and their main livelihood are tied to marine or maritime spaces. I made here that law of the sea is governed by UNCLOS. United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, was in 1982 at Montego Bay. Before that, there were other conferences from 1958, but no agreement could be reached, and there was no convention. In fact, agreements were in segmented areas, like Convention on the High Seas and all that. But this one was a convention that covered all the areas for the first time. And then it took time to sign it for it to become law. So all the things is like the Bible. The UNCLOS is like the Bible for sea, the law of the sea. It governs how the sea is used. The use of the sea, the demarcations, how to make it Pacific that is peaceful, and all that. You know, without law on the sea, would have been sighting of the fish, where the big one will swallow the small one. But the law of this, now blue economy, I ask here, why blue? When this word came out, it was so funky, so psychedelic. People were in love with it, blue economy. They didn't even know what it meant, really, because we didn't hear it over time. It just came up. Blue economy. So why do you call it blue? Just a matter of interest. I say here, blue economy is used here to symbolize the ocean, because we talk about the deep blue sea. Whenever I have a book on law of the sea, it says international law of the sea. I have a second edition written a long time ago, and the whole cover, the whole thing is blue, the cover of it, because that is the color of the sea. Sometimes you may have another color, but that is rare. That's where you have pollution. If you have pollution or something happens to make the water look different, but ordinarily it's supposed to be blue. So that is where a thing comes from. Yeah, so I have also linked it here to the SDG 14, where you have life below water, focusing on conservation and sustainable use of the sea. All right, so blue economy in Nigeria refers to the sustainable use of marine resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods and job creation, while preserving the health of marine ecosystems. It is the promotion of sustainable ocean and aquatic resources like fisheries, aquaculture, shipping, tourism, maritime transport, and deep sea mining. These are the uses of the sea. But you have to use the sea in such a way that the sea itself is not abused, so that it will be sustainable, not only for you, but for the future. So I look at connectivity. How do we connect the three? International law, coastal community, and then blue economy. How are they linked up in the topic? So I said the development of blue economy is within international law regimes, that is demarcations. The international law has laid foundation, stated the regimes or demarcations to ensure that states have access to the sea, and has laid down the conditions that the sea can be used. That is the connectivity that you have. I look at opportunities. What are the opportunities available by development of blue economy? I say it gives Nigeria the chance to diversify its economy. We've been talking about mono economy, oil economy. So if you now diversify to the sea, you have opportunity to make money from that. I've written the coastline we have there in Nigeria, very vast and a wide array of resources, which you can harness the potential for blue economy. Akwa Ibom State has 129 kilometers of coastline. I think Bayelsa has the longest coastline in Nigeria. Then Akwa Ibom follows. The second opportunity is that it will boost tourism, thereby contributing to economic growth and development. For instance, the longest sand beach in West Africa the Koibo River estuary in Ibanor Beach stretches for about 30 kilometers from Ibanor to Jamestown along Atlantic coast of Akwa Ibom State. Beaches are a significant driver of tourism worldwide, offering recreational opportunities, creating jobs, and contributing to local economies. I think mention has been made of Jamaica also, where you have a lot of tourism and the use of beaches. I also now, another opportunity here I mentioned is that of the marine sector, which includes shipping, ports, logistics. Yes. However, there are many other areas of blue economy that remain unexploited, such as fisheries. Not the one we have in Oron, for instance. Not the one we have in Itu. Those are rudimentary kind of fishing, using traditional method. We can go into fishing in a modernized way. Fisheries sector, if developed, has the potential to provide livelihoods to thousands of Nigerians while also contributing to the country's food security. You see, this EEZ here, Exclusive Economic Zone, was one of the hurdles why we could not have agreement on the demarcations of law of the sea. Because many countries, you know, I don't want to go into the history. If you look at the EEZ, many countries claimed a massive EEZ so that they can do fishing. You know, when law of the sea started, I didn't want to go into the history, but it's very interesting. The major maritime powers, Great Britain, France, you know, they were fighting overseas. And because there was no division, it became how strong you are. So they now say, how can we divide the sea to own it? Just like they own land. Colonization. They wanted areas of the sea. And so they say, okay, if you can stand here and see the furthest you can see, that's the longest you can claim. That was the measurement. They say, okay, cannon shot rule. If you sit here and fire a cannon, how far can it go? The furthest it can go is the length you can claim. Because if you claim, you must be able to police it. Whatever you say you claim, you must be able to police what you claim. Because in law we say possession is 9 parts of the law. If you have possession, you are in a stronger position than, I mean, you buy land, for instance, but you don't use it. Someone is in possession, planting it. He has stronger position than you, even though you are the owner. You want to go and prove you are in a talk of war. Now, so the same thing. If you can fire, the farthest your artillery can go is what you can claim. If Nigeria claims 200 miles easy, but it cannot police it, the Navy will tell you. Other countries come and stand there and fish. You cannot see them. In Nigeria, you don't have the means to see them. They will fish and go, you don't know. They keep their trawler and fish, finish all the sea, all the water in the sea. And you are there, you don't know. Or you claim territorial sea of 12 miles. 12 miles of territorial sea. Why that is so is that for security, you know what happened in Libya? Where America, I'm just saying America as a developed country, that is, they can bring something and stand very close to your state and be monitoring you, be seeing what you are doing, everything. So you want to keep them aware. That's why you claim a long expanse of the sea to push them away. But if they come and you don't have the technology to see them, they will see what they are doing. They spy on you, they hit you hard, and then they go away. So those were the problems we had in international law of the sea. Power, the land predominates the sea. You claim the sea because of the land. That's what they say, land predominates the sea. Your claim to the sea is because you own the land. And that's why it's source control. The state that its own land prolongates into the sea has a claim. Because without that state, you cannot claim that oil. So it's not a matter of one country, say Nigeria. That state must be treated specially. Because without them, there's no oil, no claim to that oil. So these are the things I know my time, but I told you forget my time, so you are forgetting already. If I go beyond the time, you won't know. Even the man will not stop me. I'm sure he's enjoying it. All right, sorry. This thing, okay. Because I've said you are coming. Wait. All right, I'll just end now. Marine transport, okay, I just passed that. Recommendations. Coastal federating states should cooperate to ensure peace and a common front. Involvement of border communities, well, in decision making, the country should involve these border communities in making decisions to ensure sustainable development. I didn't want to get to conclusion yet. I'm not sure why I'm there. Okay, I'll get there. All right, conclusion. Border communities are critical actors in blue economic governance, and so should not be sidelined. A truly sustainable blue economy requires the centering of community livelihoods, strengthening participatory governance, and aligning legal regimes with local justice. In view of the many opportunities which blue economy can create in Nigeria, and Akwa Ibom State in particular, it is necessary that more attention be given to it than has been done at the moment. In 2023, that point was mentioned earlier, that the federal government established the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. This is very forward-looking, I must say. The Akwa Ibom State government, also on its part, has for now subsumed matters relating to marine and blue economy and matters related to maritime development projects under the Ministry of Special Duties and Ibom Deep Sea Port. I say for now because I imagine that with time, that may become a ministry on its own. For now, it's under that Ministry of Special Duties and Ibom Deep Sea Port. Because I assume that with time, when the seaport is built or constructed, when it has come into being, perhaps there will not be a need for a ministry for it. You may not want to have a ministry for just a facility. It may be under a ministry. So perhaps we will still have that. The establishment of these ministries show the importance that governments at both national and subnational levels attach to blue economy. Beyond this, however, the eyes must remain on the ball, and every effort should be made to ensure that blue economy is maximized to the benefit of the border communities and indeed all Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who has stayed with us from the beginning of this summit, till this very moment, most especially their excellencies, of the Border Communities Development Agency and members of that delegation. We thank you. Members of delegations from the coastal states who are here, we thank you so much. We thank our royal fathers very specially. They have been patiently here with us since morning up to this moment. We thank all of you. We thank very specially members of the National Assembly who had joined us here. Senator Nelson Effiong is still here. We celebrate and thank you. The service commanders, all of them in their numbers, they were here from the beginning. They are still here with us. We thank you so very much. The chairman of the House Committee on Boundary and Conflict Resolution in Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. We thank you so much, Ma. Your presentation was fantastic. We'd like to thank members of the Akwa Ibom State Executive Council, those of them who have remained here till this moment, the commissioners of Trade and Investment, Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Commissioner for Youth, Commissioner for Education, Commissioner for Environment, Commissioner. We also have the Special Advisor, Bureau of Political and Legislative Affairs, as well as the Delivery Advisor to the Governor on Education. They're all here with us till now. We thank you so much. It has been a very inclusive session, Your Excellency, but we'd like to invite now the very last item here before we take the national anthem to close. His Excellency, when he comes, he shall take a two-in-one session. Please, let's invite for his closing remarks the chairman of the Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform and Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency, Senator Lawrence Erujakwo.
Thank you very much. Our hosts, my colleagues, when you visit a man and he tells you that by this time yesterday I've started sleeping, it means he's telling you to go home. The hall is fuller than when we began it, so it means that we are being asked to leave. You don't tell a blind man, the deaf, that the market is a kiosk. He sees the market and he runs. Our success is not determined by our sites, but it's determined by the synergies and connections we make. Our net worth is not being on the network we are using to make our calls. It's the networks we establish and maintain. And so today, I believe my colleagues and my brothers and my sisters, we have established networks, we have determined our sites. And success, like I said, is not where we are standing, but what we synergize. And so I will take already the MC has taken most of the wind from what I wanted to do today, but thanking all of you. But I still need to also say thank you. There are only two words, and they all have 5 letters. Thank you and sorry. They all have 5 letters, coincidentally, but the 2 are very important. So thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Again, once more, thank you, and God bless you. The last thing we'll be doing today now is to present a communique. I believe that we have come. The fact that somebody is called Samson doesn't mean that he's a powerful person, or the fact that somebody is called, conclude this obligation and leave this place. So a communique issued at the end of the inaugural summit of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform held on Friday, 8 August 2025 at Cedar Peak Hotel, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. The Nigerian International Coastal Border Platform held its inaugural summit at the Cedar Peak Hotel, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State on the 8th of August 2025. The summit, which was attended by the deputy governors of all the member states except Rivers State, for obvious reason for which you and I know, was declared open by the governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Pastor Umo Basi Eno, PhD. The chairman of the platform and the deputy governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Senator Lawrence Erujakwo, and other members of the platform identified some of the issues, and after extensive deliberation, the summit resolved as follows. 1, that all Nigerian laws, including the Separation of Piracy and Other Maritime Offenses Act, should be harmonized for more efficient implementation. 2, establishment of a workable community surveillance and intelligence sharing framework in all coastal security operations, and strengthening the role of local security communities in involving traditional rulers, women leaders, youth, and religious leaders. 3, the need for awareness on maritime safety and security to foster a culture of compliance with national and international laws. 4, the need for a healthy maritime environment and effective maritime border governance to combat pollution, protect mangroves, prevent degradations that could lead to economic hardship and insecurity. 5, taking advantage of the African Integrated Border Governance Strategy and the African Continental Free Trade Zone to boost cross-border trade between coastal communities and neighboring countries. 6, a dedication of a percentage of the revenues from maritime taxes and crude oil exports to coastal security funding. 7, investing in maritime transport services to stimulate economic activities between coastal communities and neighboring countries. 8, integrate climate change resilience in maritime border policies. 9, increase provision of social infrastructure in coastal border communities. 10, establishment of a cross-border platform for regular engagement between coastal communities and neighboring countries. For on behalf of the Nigerian International Coastal Border Communities, we are Senator Lawrence Erujakpo, Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State and Chairman of Platform. Senator Dr. Akon Iyenayin, Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State. Sir Monday Onyeme, Deputy Governor, Delta State. Engineer Nuimat Salako Oyedele, FNSC, Deputy Governor of Ogun State. Dr. Olayide Awolaibiri Adelemi, MNI, Deputy Governor of Ondo State. Right Honorable Peter Ode, PhD, Deputy Governor of Cross River State. Mrs. Dada Mobolaji M., Representative of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. The other people are the presenters, so they are part of the attempted signatories to this thing. Anyway, since the Deputy Governor of Ondo State is serving MNI, we, the rest Deputy Governors, we have NIN as our titles. Thank you and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a fantastic applause, please celebrate His Excellency the Chairman of the Nigeria International Coastal Border Platform and Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. Affable gentleman he is, very humorous. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please, we shall take the national anthem to close. I ask that we all please rise as the Pure Brass Band leads us to sing the national anthem. Thank you very much. There shall be tea break for all invited guests immediately after now. We thank you. Tea break, please. The moment.